afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to Mythgard in Middle-earth. My name is Corey Olson, the Tolkien Professor, joined, as always, by my friend Gryfflet, who is here charmingly posed in a little family gathering here, a little photo op with Andros and Mabon, whom he's been helping, and Mabon, whom he's delighted, though frankly puzzled, to find alive and unbagged in that plot line that never got finished over in the west of Dunland. But that's okay. So Gryfflet's just happy to see him alive. So we're all good. So of course, last week we finished Isengard. We did the last raid. Some sort of final reflections on that last raid, which was really cool. And I will say, one of the primary things I want to give props to that raid for is that was one of the most lore interesting raids I've ever done. I mean, usually in the game, raids tend to be more on the, the combat mechanics side of things, and less, sort of lore intensive. So often in that way, I've been disappointed at raids, and they're fine. It's like different things for different people. But of course, what I'm primarily interested in is, story and narrative and adaptation. And I have rarely found all that much to talk about, really, in a lot of the raids, which, again, really sort of tend to be focused on combat and combat mechanics. However, and absolutely, thanks to Hologrow for guiding us through that. That was awesome. As always, Hologrow remains one of my tanking mentors and sort of role models there. Wiggand hopes that he can tank as well as Hologrow someday. But anyhow, but what I was saying was the raid. I really enjoyed the raid, and especially the way that it engages in this. It asks a question, and this is, of course, one of the wonderful opportunities which Lotro so often avails itself of, right? Which is asking a question and answering it that Tolkien invites, essentially. Tolkien's story invites but doesn't answer at all in the stories. Namely, what's up with Saruman's rings of power, right? Why he calls himself Saruman Ringmaker. He's obviously done it, right? He's wearing a ring on his hand, we're told. We know nothing about that ring. We know nothing about his own experiments into ring lore. What was he attempting to do? What did he succeed in doing? Any of those things, we know nothing about. And so speculating on that is a really, really interesting question. So you'll remember last time I was kind of speculating at the beginning, talking about the Rings of Power and how they work, and how Saruman might be trying to sort of engage in a similar sort of thing. The one thing that I was uncertain about is the elemental nature, the whole like lightning and poison and fire element, the way in which the different rings and darkness, shadow, the way that Saruman's rings were designed to sort of harness the elements. On the one hand, it seems a little bit. So I as I say, I'm kind of uncertain about it. It's not that I dislike it, because I can definitely find good arguments for it. So let me say first, the thing that was initially disappointing about it, is that it is, at first glimpse, it sounds very D&D, right? Like ring of like elemental command, essentially. Like the idea of, you wear this ring, and this ring gives you power over fire and like fire resistance and like a fiery aura and the ability to wield fire. That sounds like a legendary magical item in Dungeons and Dragons. In other words, it doesn't really sound like the kind of item we ever see anybody making in Tolkien's works. So again, my initial response was not negative, but it's slightly disappointed. Like, well, it's a little bit compared to what we see the rest of Tolkien's magic and magical items, that seems a little bit sort of blunt, you know what I mean? But on the other hand, the more I've thought about it, the more I've actually come to like it. And that's because I think that it fits well with the overall focus that they gave. And remember, this was something that gets reinforced by the Saruman voiceovers throughout the raid, which are emphasizing Saruman as modern science and industry gone wrong, or rather, the Saruman as kind of, well, not embodying, it's not as abstract as that, as him as propounding, you know, him as defending the modern sense of, you know, the bad modern attitude that Tolkien was really concerned about. And I talked about this a little bit last time. You know, this whole, like, man as, like, you know, taking command over nature, you know, man as dominating nature through the power of science. You know, that's talk very common in the first half of the 20th century, very alarming to Tolkien and others. So the way in which Lotro has made Saruman even more explicitly, I mean, that element is there in the books. They've made it more explicit in the game, which seems to me perfectly fair. And so thinking in that context, therefore, that what Saruman would do would not just be interested in dominion with his rings of power, that is, not just in dominion over, like, the hearts and minds of others, but that he would also be seeking to attain this kind of dominion over nature, right? That they would be his sort of ultimate examples. They would be, in that sense, like this sort of quasi-scientific magic, right? In a sense, if you see what I mean by that. Harnessing electricity, harnessing poison, harnessing fire, harnessing shadow itself, in order to use it to bring order and to obey his will. But of course, still having that element of the domination of hearts and souls through his own master ring that controls the other rings. What were there? Was it 5? That he had. So in the end, I found that balance really interesting, and so that's why that is how I have come to be, actually, the more I've reflected on it over the last week, more comfortable and more appreciative of the way that they did Saruman's rings. And so anyway, I am just, as I say, I've been thinking about it, and I wanted to kind of give a final thought, because that was really fascinating and a really, really interesting question, and a very fitting kind of capstone, because it really pretty much is the capstone, right? We're not going to get too much more. Well, I was about to say, we're not going to get too much more interaction with Saruman in the game, but of course, hopefully we will. Right, when we get to the Scouring of the Shire, which we're obviously going to get to, right? I mean, there really is no question that we're going to work our way back to the Scouring of the Shire. So when we do, not if, but when we get to the Scouring of the Shire, presumably we will get then the sort of final chapter, which is not the capstone, right? It's our, this is already Saruman way in decline, but of course it's the end of the story, which enables us to see not what is the sort of the height and the apex and the grand vision of Saruman, which is essentially what we were kind of getting there in the end of this Isengard sequence, but instead, what is the natural end, right? What is the what is the actual output of this on the ground? What does it end up really looking like? What does it kind of devolve into, essentially? I'm excited to see that, and I'll be interested to kind of take that and compare it back with what we've seen here in Isengard. So, anyhow, okay. Yeah, Sam says, poor Shire. The Scouring the Shire is not going to be easy, right? It is not going to be easy to... it's not going to be easy to see. That's going to be painful. And it should be, right? It should be. Anyway, cool. So I'm going to say goodbye here to Andros and Mabon. All right, here we go. And I got to turn in my last quest here.
We have little to say to your kind.
He's surprised that I live? Well, yes, we kind of sort of took down Saruman. We didn't totally take him down, but we weakened him. And by the way, I didn't even think about that element. I was so focused on the sort of the nature of Saruman's power and their depiction of Saruman that I didn't even think about the sort of role the theoretical role that our mission there into Isengard, into Orthanc, would play in the overall role, right? If we've already shattered Saruman's ring of power, then that means that Saruman is already going to be weakened when Gandalf comes, right? So no one has said explicitly, but the implication would seem to be that we don't exactly make the conquest of the Ents and the supremacy of Gandalf possible. But, we totally helped, right? Gandalf and Treebeard would have had a much rougher time of it here. I mean, Treebeard would have had a harder time if he had to fight those 5 champions with those 5 rings, right? And maybe Gandalf would have had a harder time. He still would have been fine. But still, anyway, that seems to be what we're invited to think. Though they've been sufficiently indirect about that I really like the indirectness. They've not made any definite narrative claim that I recall. No, Sam, I have not gotten to flooded Isengard yet. I mean, I figured that we would get there, and so I figured we would get to interact with Isengard, with Saruman there, but not in the same way that we were here. The parallel, I would think, would be the Scouring of the Shire. But yeah, no, I figure we'll get there. And no, I have not gotten to push the epics past Helm's Deep. I've been very occupied lately, so sadly I have off of my streams been able to play very little Lotro actually, which is very sad. Anyway, okay, all right. So, okay, let's get, I know this has not been a very action-packed stream so far. My apologies. Okay, so anyway, so the rings are destroyed, right? Yeah, all of them. That's right. Thrice blessed be the Gwyrad. Hey, it's all good. No problem. Though I see from your look that Saruman lives and is hardly powerless. Yes. His ring forge is destroyed and the last of the rings with it. Yeah, no, that's a serious assist right there. Gwyn of the Avantluth came and left gifts for any heroes who dare to stand against the wizard. Oh, great. That's excellent. Cool. All right. Okay, so thank you there, Andros. Now I think we're going to head over because it's time to go to Theoden. Okay. All right. Okay. Oh, this is the horse I'm looking for, because I need to hang on. Where's my Theodred? Yeah, sorry, Theodred. Theodred is what I meant. Sorry, my apologies. Yeah, Theodred. Okay, hang on. I'm looking for Volume 3. That's it. The Prince of Rohan. That's the one. That's the quest I'm looking for. Okay, except I'm in Galtrev. So I need to go down to Grimbold's
camp. You are welcome here, as long as you do not trouble us.
Okay, yeah. Where are we? Here we are, Grimbold's camp. Okay, very good. All right, Gryfflet, keep it together here. Here we go. Okay, Theodred. Yes, Theodred, not Theoden yet. That would be getting a little ahead of himself. Gryfflet, not quite ready for that. Okay, here we are, back to Grimbold. All right, hi there, Kiriana. I'm just going to go and talk to my boy Theodred over here, because I think Theodred is cool. And, having gotten to meet him before, he's a little stern, a little bit intolerant towards the Dunlendings, though, I can kind of appreciate it under the circumstances. I can understand under the circumstances. And, but, I think that Theodred is great. And having gotten to know him a little bit better, I think he's going to make a great King of Rohan someday.
I am devising a plan.
Okay.
Once all is ready, I want you to be a part of it.
Great. Okay, you would have welcomed any of my ranger friends. Yeah, no, they had to go. Yeah. Okay. Let's strengthen the men.
We know that Saruman has a much larger force of Uruks than we do of men.
Okay, right. We know his armies outnumber you. Great. Grimbold estimates that each one of us is worth at least 20 Uruks. Oh, this is great. This is a good place to start. Okay, Grimbold. Right. But he is from Grimslade, and the men of that place are not known for their mastery of numbers. Okay. He doesn't math so well, is that what you're saying? I fear he underestimates the savagery of Saruman's forces. I think you might be right, Theodred. Glad to see there's somebody with sense here. And then there are the hostile Dunlanding clans to consider. Yes, let's remember that. Athelard has gone to the Ayat in the middle of the river to train some of the men. They have seen less combat than others, and they have much to learn. Okay, all right, I will go help the Utes. Absolutely. Let's go help with the training. Gryfflet has a great deal to give to these. Sam, isn't that armor sweet? Yeah, that's the dragon armor. Picked that up in Galtrev with all the medallions I got from all these raids and things I've been doing. So yeah, it was awesome. Big fan of this armor, and the cloak, right? That I got in one of the instances there, the Isengard instances. Love the green dragon cloak. It's my favorite cloak now. Okay. Yeah, sorry. I just watched My Cousin Vinny again recently, and I can't help myself with the Utes thing. Okay. Here we go. Athelard. Oh, sorry. My apologies. Let me dismount, because you're on foot. Okay. Hi there, Athelard.
These men need to be stronger.
They need to be stronger.
I need to make them stronger.
You need to make them stronger. What do you have them doing, push-ups and stuff, or what? Find a warrior and archer and fight them. Okay. All right. I guess that'll help. Look at them all. Okay.
I am ready to show you the strength of my arm.
Great. Okay, so I'm going to... sorry, I'm queuing up a lore question, because I didn't get to any lore questions last time. Where's the question, Marielle, that question of yours that I was going to answer? Aha! Here's the one. I didn't get to it last time. Marielle said that she's been listening to a lot of the earlier Exploring the Lord of the Rings sessions, and it struck me how desperate Frodo is for Gandalf. What does he understand about Gandalf's true nature when he leaves the Shire? Really interesting question. Especially since we don't hear much from Frodo about that specifically. You ready for me? Oh, okay. I just have to attack. I was waiting for you to attack me. You were waiting for me to attack you. Yeah. So anyway, yeah. Oh, that's it. Okay. No problem. I'll fight you too. So.
If you believe you can best me in training, prove it is so.
Oh, am I supposed to? Okay, now I was going to say, what am I supposed to shoot something? I don't have a bow. I got no missile weapon. What am I supposed to do? Okay, sorry. Yeah, so, Frodo. The primary evidence that we have for what the hobbits know about Gandalf's true nature is that comment, that sort of mental comment of Pippin's, as they're walking into the throne room of Minas Tirith, meeting Denethor for the first time. And Pippin sort of idly wonders, A, what on earth Gandalf is? When did he come into the world? And, like, when would he leave it again? And B, why had he never thought about this before, right? So Pippin is for the first time thinking, like, gosh, you know, actually, come to think of it, I don't even know what the heck Gandalf is. And we don't know. Now, this is Pippin. Right? So has Frodo already had this brainwave earlier on? You know, is he a little quicker on the uptake than Pippin? That certainly seems possible. But we don't know. We never really see Frodo kind of contemplating that directly. So, you know, I don't really know. Like, what does he mean that everyone knows that Gandalf is a wizard, right? But when does Frodo come to that realization that he has some kind of higher nature? Again, that knowledge is a little bit unclear.
What do you think of their abilities?
They will have to do. Okay, find Rungar. All right. Oh, great. Help him with the training of the riders. Yeah, that's my speciality. Okay. Anyway, so it's really unclear what Frodo exactly knows about Gandalf's nature. But, I mean, when you think of the almost desperation that Frodo feels for Gandalf, it's clear that he associates Gandalf... Gandalf is the only one who understands what's going on, right? Gandalf is the only ally that he knows he can depend upon. This is one of the things that's so important about the meeting of Strider, right? And Strider becomes really important to Frodo. Remember when he's talking to Gandalf about this at the beginning of Book 2, right? When he wakes up in Rivendell. And he talks about how Strider has become... the first way he says it is, I've become very fond of Strider, right? And then he's like, well, I'm not sure fond is quite the right word, right? He's dear to me, he says. And I think that one of the things that we see there is, like, I think that Frodo, legitimately didn't know that there were... Remember how alone he felt, you know, when Frodo accepted the ring and accepted his quest to take the ring to Rivendell, right? That's what he's, so as far as he knows, he's come to the end of his road when he wakes up there in chapter 1 of book 2. He thought he was, in his mind, he was going into isolation, right? And this is why it's a really big deal in the first half of book 1 when companions are coming to him, right? From the moment that Sam Gamgee is infenestrated in Bag End to the conspiracy unmasked, right? Knowing that he has more supporters. And yet there, it's great to have friends. It's great to have companions, but they're not allies. They can't help like Gandalf. I mean, at the end of the day, if the Black Riders are attacking them, Sam Gamgee can say that, those Black Riders will have to ride right over him in order to get to Frodo, or he can imply that very clearly. But at the end of the day, it's not going to actually slow them down very much, right? He has no, as Frodo feels like it's him versus Sauron. That's kind of imbalanced, right? And he knows that. He feels alone and hunted and friendless. Gandalf's it, right? Gandalf is all he has. Not the only friend he has, but the only hope he has, the only ally he has. He knows not only that, and we've also spent some time in exploring the Lord of the Rings, looking at exactly how sort of incompetent Frodo and his friends are as adventurers, that they don't cover themselves with glory in these early stages of their quest. But Frodo has no illusions about that. He knows he's not made for perilous quests, as he says to Gandalf. But it's Gandalf's guidance and wisdom that he's relying upon. So that desperation, I think, has to do with that sense of being alone, of having no resources that he can use against Sauron. Even the support of his friends, encouraging as that is, helpful as it is in some small ways, is definitely not really, a resource to be used against the shadow, right? Gandalf is it. Strider becomes another one, right? And so his, he is dear to me, right? He's not just expressing there his personal affections. That's part of it, right? But that he expressed his affections by saying he was fond of him. His clarification when he goes on to change that and say that there's more to it than just fondness, right? It's more than just about how he feels about Strider. Part of that is like he found on the road someone who was an ally like Gandalf, right? Someone who is able to help, someone who is willing to help, knowing what is going on. Even Gildor was kind of an ally and did kind of help, but you'll notice that Gildor didn't stick with him and guide him, right? That's not as Gildor himself explained, that's not their role. And so even in Gildor, he could find somebody that he could speak to openly. He could find someone whose advice might be helpful and who knew to some extent like what is going on in the world, right? But he still didn't find somebody that he could count on like Gandalf. So I think it's in that, I think, is what it's that sense of being alone in the world that seems to me to really inform Frodo's desperation there. All right, sorry, Rungar, I'm leaving you
My
hanging.
men are practicing a technique to help them
Talky
fight
stream
from
today.
horseback.
Much talk, little action so far. Okay, you're practicing a technique to help them fight from horseback. Great. A technique that will snare their opponents. With careful aim, your men can ensnare their enemies' legs with a thrown net. Really? It will then keep the foemen from attacking until our footmen can close the distance. Gather up the nets they have already thrown and bring them to me. Okay, so I'm just... you don't want me to actually net anything. You just want me to like, okay. I can net gather. That's fine. Okay, yeah, Gnagarwina, I do have a log, a backlog of lore questions, which sometimes gets kind of long, so I apologize if I don't always get to them. It's that, sometimes the stuff like actually happening in the game kind of, gets in the way of answering the lore questions. Yeah, that's interesting, Phil. Phil says that you could say Gildor treated Frodo somewhat like the Valar treat the elves in general. Sort of, to some extent. I mean, remember Gildor explains that like their path is elsewhere, right? Like their role is different. It's like not his job to do that in a way, and it's hard to kind of understand that to some extent. But yeah, just as Phil, I think it's hard to understand why the Valar don't seem to do more, right? And yet they do. And we see Gildor is not abandoning him, right? He doesn't just walk off and be like, well, whatever, Frodo. He helps. But yeah, the more I think about it, Phil, it is a really interesting parallel, right? Gildor helps them a great deal. They just don't see him doing it, right? And all they get is sort of indirect evidence that he has
Very
helped.
good.
So
Their
that
skill
is
throwing
kind
the
of like
nets
Valar,
is
isn't it?
improving with each pass.
Okay. Good job with the nets, guys. Glad I could help out by doing some net fetching there. I felt like I definitely contributed. Yeah. Okay. Is there a place where you can read a transcript of my answers? No, we don't have a transcript, Nagarwina. That would be an interesting thing. But no, we don't have transcripts, I'm afraid. We do have recordings. All of my previous Gryfflet streams are on our YouTube channel. So there's that.
We need
but
every
don't have
man to
written
be ready,
transcripts.
for what I have in mind is dangerous.
Okay. Okay. Tell me what you have in mind, Theodred. I have a really good feeling about it. If we wait until Saruman's army is ready, we cannot hope to hold the fort against him. Sensible. Especially since, as Gryfflet has already discovered or confirmed, Theodred, he has camps on both sides of the river. How can you possibly defend the ford from somebody who could bring his army down either or both sides of the river at the same time, right? I mean, that's kind of... You sort of need to fall back from the fords, I have to say, Theodred. Anyway, sorry. If we can catch him before he's ready, we might strike such a blow that his force will be sent into disarray. He is wise, yes, and is the wise man not cautious? Maybe. He will see that we have taken him by surprise, and he will retreat behind his walls, and he will continue to grow his army until he is certain we cannot oppose him. Maybe, unless he's already certain, Theodred. Every day that goes by is a day in our favor. Maybe. Not sure I'm in 100% agreement with you with your analysis here, Theodred. The size of his army is of no account. Can't say I agree with that statement either. As long as it stays within Isengard. Yes, if it will, sure. Let it stay there forever. Okay. We must make him uncertain enough of his success that he never moves it. Okay. All right. So, the whole, let's launch a attack that they don't expect thing. Like, I'm kind of game for that, Theodred. I mean, you're outnumbered more than you even think you are, but...
Prince Theodred's plan is a daring one.
Daring indeed. That was the word I was looking for, Grimbold. But there is wisdom in it. I'm not sure that's the word I was looking for. No, I don't want to be hard on Theodred. Yeah, okay. He's like his father in this. He does not shy away from using his strength where it is necessary. Okay, right? I would like you by my side. Oh, Captain Grimbold, I'm honored to be by your side. We'll plant the seed of doubt in Saruman's mind. Yeah! Let's do it.
Prince Theodred's plans are set forth on the map table.
They're set forth on the map table.
We begin at dawn.
Okay. Begin at dawn. We'll strike Saruman hard and fast and use his own caution against him. I love how we've now, definitely firmly concluded that his caution is, like, a definite thing, right? I'm not sure I am myself so quite convinced, but as long as he thinks his army is not ready to march, okay, right? I hear you, man. I totally hear you. Not sure that's how it's going to pan out, but I certainly agree that this is better than just sitting around and trying to defend a ford from an army that can attack it from both sides. So, okay, let's check out the map table here. First, we must determine what defenses to leave at the Ford of Isen. Okay, let's do this.
Dawn came swiftly on the 25th of February, as my prince prepared to conduct his daring strike.
All right. This is Grimbold narrating now, right? I think so. Okay. All right, Theodred, so we're on the ford. Here we are at the ford. We're ready, Theodred. Oh, yeah. Totally refreshed. I doubt not this will be a long day. I think you might be right. We've got to resolve unresolved matters. We need many men at your side, but we must not leave the ford undefended. Okay. Especially because he could come around the other way. Who do I have in mind? Yeah. To command the riders left behind. Kada. His brother Edwig already spoke to me, desiring a place in our host. Okay. Their mother is old, and if our attack on Isengard goes ill, I would not deprive her of both her sons. That's thoughtful of you, Theodred. We'll tell Kunstan to deliver this message. Okay, oh, hang on, we're walking. Whoa, we're not walking anymore. Nope, we're walking. Kunstan. Oh, what's Kunstan looking for? You misplaced a bracer, huh? Okay. It will turn up, I'm sure. Yeah, okay. Kata's gonna love this message. Hold the fort against whatever may come. Okay. No, I didn't think he would like that. Are you gonna have me tell him instead? As a man of Rohan, he will understand what is needed of him. I will not advance through the front gate to victory while leaving the postern gate open to the enemy. Okay. Someone must stay to hold the fort in the event I have misjudged Saruman. Ford, not fort. In the event I have misjudged Saruman's mind. Right. Okay. I should go with Kunstan to deliver your words. He is untested by who? Kunstan? Right, sure. And the men still see him as a green boy. Kata may be less bristly towards my esquire if you were there as well. Yeah, my stature is such that Kata will not dare to speak against anything that Gryfflet has to say, if Gryfflet is there as Kunstan's, bodyguard. Okay. All right, Kunstan. No problem. Oops, hang on. I'm still walking, Kunstan. Alright. Are we going to jump from stone to stone? Whee! Whee! Yeehaw! Oh, look, I'm not getting my feet wet. Ugh. Whew, still dry-footed. Oh, no! Got my feet wet trying to back off to look at you. If you had kept going, we'd have been fine. I came a long way from my homeland. Yes, yes. I've seen a great deal of danger. These battles in which I have fought, when I was embroiled in the thick of them, was I frightened? Oh, sometimes more than others. I mean, I've been frightened in Moria. In Moria, I was frightened a couple times, especially when the game started crashing that one night. I was frightened. That was near the end of my marathon stream in Moria. I was frightened. I'm always frightened whenever I'm asked to protect anybody, basically, Kunstan. I mean, that's terrifying when that happens. But absolutely. You're already frightened and we haven't begun to march. It's all good, man. It doesn't make you a coward. I will be with Theodred, and he has never known fear. What a good leader Theodred is. Oh, don't worry. You're not going to bring shame upon your family or your prince. It's going to be... You're going to be fine. No problem. Whoa. I'm glitching here. Weehaw! Hey, you're welcome. Always happy to listen, Kunstan. It is the will of the prince. Hey, Kata, that's right. I'm here, like, with my head the height of your stirrup to tell you that you better not question these orders. You'll do as you're commanded. That's right, Kata. Okay, your men will hold the fort against whatever comes. But you think you will wait here uselessly while your brother and your friends ride into battle? You chafe at the need. Yeah. Chafe is a good verb. It's one Éomer uses that verb. Doesn't he? His company chafes to be away when he's talking to Aragorn, when Éomer first meets Aragorn. I love it when they do that. I often talk when in my classes and stuff about trying to sort of use the vocabulary of the text itself. So I always love it when words and phrases from elsewhere in the books kind of bubble up in the dialogue in Lotro. They're very careful not to actually use the text directly because they don't want to infringe on HarperCollins' text copyright, which is different from the adaptation copyright that they have. The Lotro, I mean. But anyhow, I do love it when the words and phrases directly from the book do kind of work their way in like that. Sorry. Okay, yeah, right, but you're chafing. You chafe at the need and do not wish to sit here. I get it, Kata. That's good. This wall, this is a good wall. I mean, it's not that big, right? But this little cleft here is defensible and much more defensible than the ford. Because like I said, they're going to... He leaves the defense of his home and his people in the hands of those he trusts. That's putting a good spin on it, Kata. That's exactly right. Very good, Kata. What a good captain you are. You will not fail him. You will protect Rohan. Hooray! Excellent. Let none pass into Rohan. We are the last defense of its people. Oh, Kata, this is great. Getting an A+. Look at that. Not only is he obeying, he is... That is all. That is excellent. Wow. Gold star for Kata there. Now, keep in mind, watch, see that pass right there? Right there. Yeah, see that path that goes up there by those trees up there? The orcs could come right down there, man. I did that. Okay, it's like an easy stroll to one of their main camps. So stay over here. Guard that. This is my advice here. I'm here. Okay, Kunstan, I told him about the path, so we're good. Okay. You heard me tell him that. No, he did great. Kata did. You're going to stay here to see if you can find your missing bracer? Okay. All right, I'll tell the prince. Also tell him that you're not too afraid. Okay. Hee-hee. I love it when I splash on top of the rock. Okay. Where's Theodred? Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. Okay. Oh, who do we have here? Where'd it get... Oh, here's Grimbold standing to the left and somewhat behind his lord, right? Who else are we talking to here? There's Athelard. Is it just dudes? Okay. Alright. Sorry, Grimbold. I don't want to get between you and Theodred. That'd be rude. I'll get over here on his other side. Gryfflet on his right. Grimbold on his left. What has he to fear? Okay, Cotta will hold the east bank of the ford with the men at his command. That's excellent. The Aorid will follow my lead, and Grimbold will dismount and command the foot as a separate unit if the terrain off the road warrants it. I could tell you all about the terrain. They're trees. It's the logs. Really annoying. Yeah, it's going to make it hard on the horses. Okay. Some hours? It's not going to take all that long. Mount my steed? Okay. I don't have one of those fancy steeds yet, even though I'm level 76. But that's okay. I don't need one yet. Okay, Grimbold. Let us ride together.
Prince Theodred left riders at the Ford of Isen to
Right.
guard the passage into Rohan, and he went north with a second group to Isengard.
Right. Notice they had the big orc camp on the east bank on the map there, right? So, okay. All right, here we are. Okay, yeah, no, Tesh, I have not gotten my war steed yet. I'm war steedless. Wigan has his war steed. Gryfflet, not yet. Not for a while. I mean, I still have the whole Great River area to go through before I get my war steed. I think I'm gonna be XP frozen for a long time here yet. All right, Grimbold. Okay. It's a pleasant morning for riding. If it stays thus, we will be at Isengard by midday, and have brought Saruman to heel not long after. Well, okay. Not really done anything yet, but that's fine. Let's catch up to the prince. Okay. Ha. Oh, no, that is so like, that's like, you mean like giddy up. Okay. That's fine. Sorry. You guys are kind of slow. My little pony is... Your war horses kind of can't keep up with my little pony. No, I'm not trying to make a My Little Pony reference. That was totally incidental. Hang on. I'll just go up and see Theodred. Grimbold is catching up. Slowly. Yeah. What's the word from ahead? Alright. He sent a scout. Okay. What time of day is it again? Morning, yeah? It's like noonish. See, look, orc camp. Notice where it is, Theodred. East bank of the river. This is a problem. But you position Cotta on the east bank, so you're good. Probably. Mostly. Okay. We're nearly here. You can smell the stench of Isengard. Sure, yeah. I believe that. Well, Phil, yeah, they did say it started at dawn, but it's like gonna take hours to get here, so I think it's, closer to midday by now. Grimbold thought we would, oh, hang on. It's coming on a slow horse. Orcs and half-orcs, their number is not great. Oh. I'm sure it'll be fine. Hooray! Oh, good. Saruman doesn't suspect a thing. Okay. The battle is still unfought. Can I say how much I admire the layout here? Notice the road here curves away. Look at Isengard against the sky, right? So you go back down this road. So the entire approach up this road is concealed. You can see it from the orc camp, true, but from Orthanc itself, they've stopped. We're right where they've stopped. Here is where they come into sight of the top of Orthanc. So they're being sort of thoughtful about that. Sorry, I'm especially sensitive to this as we've been thinking about the vantage point from Weathertop as we've been approaching Weathertop and exploring the Lord of the Rings. So, thinking about that. Okay, Theodred. We must not forget that Saruman is devious. I know. I was going to warn you about that too. This strike will remind him that we are not to be lightly set aside and that he is not immune to attack. Okay. The dawn has passed. It will be midday when we move to the next stage of my plan. Oh. Okay. We have several hours' ride, and then we will see if Saruman is prepared to face me in battle, if he will cower behind his walls in perpetual caution. Okay, we will see that. Okay. Yeah, all right. Yeah, so now we're going to be resuming at midday. So it must have been like late morning by the time we got word. Because, you know, it's supposed to have taken hours to get there. I think that's why Grimbold's horse is so slow. Okay. All right. Okay, what am I doing? I wanted to check another lore question. Though it's hard when I'm doing a story, you know, there's such a narrative. It's one of the things I love about the Theodred sequence. It's so narrative focused. I just love it. Jenny, great question. So Jenny was saying she just finished reading the Athrobeth. Isn't that awesome? Oh my goodness. Really, I think the Athrobeth and Leaf by Niggle are possibly my two favorite Tolkien works. Like, I mean, of course, like the Lord of the Rings is the great one, right? But Leaf by Niggle and the Athrobeth, oh man. So amazing. Anyhow, she had a question about something Finrod says towards the end about marriages between men and elves only being for some high purpose of doom. Is there anything that Tolkien wrote about that in regards to Aragorn and Arwen's marriage? Jenny, great question. So quickly, essentially, yes. When this is the reason for the numbering, right? That is to say, we're told in The Lord of the Rings that, you know, the marriage of Aragorn and Arwen is the third union of the firstborn and the secondborn, right? The third union of elves and men. Beren and Luthien, Tuor and Idril, Aragorn and Arwen, right? But there have been others, right? I mean, goodness, even a Took is rumored to have taken a fairy wife. That's absurd, right? But the stories are out there, right? And we know for a fact that there is elvish blood in the line of Imrahil, right? So that there have been other interbreedings, you know, of humans and elves, we have every reason to think. You know, does this mean that none of the Avari ever interbred with a human? You know, that we don't know that. And I don't think that that's what Tolkien is claiming when he says, because I mean, again, like, Prince Imrahil is standing in the room, right? When we're told that Aragorn and Arwen is the third union of elves and men. So in the end, what that means, what he's talking about, is exactly what what Finrod is referring to there at the end of the Athrobeth. This the high purposes of doom for which the marriages of elves and men are brought together, and. So it's the third of those. You know, there have been other unions at times, but there have been three great unions, and you know, which have played this super important role in the doom of Middle Earth as things have unfolded. That's how I have always understood that. Again, now also keep in mind Finrod is talking here, right? Also keep in mind. Prince Imrahil was a late development. His background is a late development. His background was a late development in Tolkien's mind, and yet the Athrobeth was written afterwards, right? So when Finrod says those words, Tolkien has already conceived of Imrahil's elvish lineage, right? So again, I don't think this is a question of two things that Tolkien says in different places which contradict each other because his ideas had changed over time. That happens a lot, but this isn't one of those examples, because because of the sequence that we know those things happened in. So what I would suggest about this, Jenny, again, remember this is Finrod talking, and one of the things that we see, which is not just something that we see by the wayside, but that is a major feature of the Athrobeth, is that Finrod doesn't always know what he's talking about, right? He thinks he does, and he has theories and beliefs, but he's not always right, and he doesn't know everything. Finrod would focus on those great unions. You know, if he's thinking forward to Idril and Tuor, and you know, and that things like this are going to happen, then you know he's, and I'm trying to remember. Yeah. Anyway, that's where Finrod's mind is. That's where Finrod's focus is. But I don't think that it means, again, never shall human and elf come together to have an offspring, unless it be a situation like that, like one of those that Finrod is describing there. Yeah. Yeah, good. Oh, absolutely. I see you guys talking about the Mythgard Academy. Yes, we're definitely scheduled to do Sauron Defeated. So we're doing Sir Thomas Malory now. That's going to take a little bit of time. After that, we're scheduled to do Sauron Defeated. It is almost certain we're going to go on and do Morgoth's Ring after that. So yeah, that's definitely almost certain to happen. I cannot imagine that the electorate is going to decide, having marched our way through 9 volumes of the history of Middle-earth, that we're going to stop at that point. So, but Malory is going to take some time. But you should join us for that, because then you get to see the adventures of Sir Gryfflet, Gryfflet the Hobbit's namesake. Maybe once we get to Rohan and he's learning his war steed, I will have to quote some Malory about Sir Gryfflet. You know, Sir Gryfflet rode a great wallop, and that kind of thing. Okay. Anyhow, so we're gonna do. We have time. We sure do. Midday. Let's do it, Theodred. Okay.
Theodred came to the gates of Isengard by midday, and the Uruks arrayed before him, readied for his assault. We lined up, ready to charge.
Okay, guys. So, I don't want to discourage you, but that group of Uruks up there is smaller than one of the... Like, there were more Uruks sitting around the cafeteria tables when I was fetching slops than there are in that group. So I'm just gonna, you know, go ahead and say I'm pretty sure that's not all of them. I think he's baiting us, Theodred. Reasonably certain his resources somewhat greater than that. Oh, I can't go up. I can't sneak. Wanted to sneak in among them. No? Okay. Alright, never mind. Okay, Theodred, tell me the plan. Okay, there are orcs outside the walls, but their number should not be a problem. No. Okay. This. Alright. I see them as... They're not... Oh, dear. Okay, but... Charging might not send our greeting to Saruman. Okay. All right. Oh, and I want to stand in front of the archers. Okay, send your 4 archers. I would help them. Okay. Hey, good job. You each got one. Grimbold, take Gryfflet and attack from their flank. Okay. We will cut through the brush on this side of the road. Okay. On foot. I'm sneaking. I'm right behind you, Grimbold. You and me. Let's do this. Oh, okay. Psst, I want to see. Yay! The charge of the Rohirrim! Ha ha! Nice. All right. Uh-oh. Wait. Okay. We got these guys. Okay. Would this be a bad time to burgle, folks? Stay alert. All right. I can try. Let's see. No, I can't, because we're in combat. Okay. I still don't have this whole trick thing mastered. I'm not sure I'm getting that. What happens? Do I chuck a rock at him? No. I just kind of kicked him. So this one here, what is this one called? This is counter defense. Strike to lower the enemy's defenses. Okay. Okay. Right. Whoop. They advanced, but then they ran away. Oh, there you are. Okay, no problem. I'm gonna stun. Oh, he turned towards me, so I'm gonna stun him. And I'm gonna throw something in his face. And then I'm going to hit him a bunch of times in the kneecaps. This is Gryfflet's plan. Okay. Well, that's good. Alright, half-orc archer. I'm ranging myself for positional bonus. There we go. Alright, good, good. Here comes another. Oh, is there a boss coming, man? You tank him, Grimbold. Nope, nope. It's Rungar. Aha! How did you know I was here, Rungar? Oh, I should talk to you. Prince Theodred routed the enemy. What, all 5 of them? Victory is ours. Sort of. We will send them howling back into the ring of Isengard. Okay.
Our victory was short-lived.
Yeah.
All was still as the gates of Isengard swung open. Out boiled a mighty force of Saruman's Uruks.
Uh-huh.
They sought to surround us, and Theodred ordered a retreat.
I kind of saw that coming. Okay. All right, Grimbold, this is looking... I gotta tell you, Grimbold, this is still a small portion. Yes, we're outnumbered. We must survive the attack. Oh dear. Our riders have managed to net some of our foes. Attack the netted Uruks. Okay, defeat netted Uruk warriors. Okay. Hey, here's one. No, I'm trying to fight the netted guy. Can I... There we go. Ah. Yeah, I'm this guy too. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna just have some healing here. Okay, more netted dudes. Where's it? Oh, there's one. There he is. Okay. I got this. No problem. Let me stun you and stuff. Oh, 2 netted Uruks at a time. Great! That's just the kind of thing I'm looking for. Okay, I just kicked you in the shins again, which I gather is a devastating blow. So that's good. Oh, come on now. This orc warrior with an axe 3 times bigger than I am. Okay. No problem. Oh, I completed it? Look at that. Nazgul? Why are you chatting about the Nazgul? Yeah, take that. Okay, yeah, let's get out of here. The day is lost. Yeah, Okay, so I was afraid of that. Oh, sorry, I didn't see that in time to bring up the map while I was there. Okay. Do I have time? Oh yeah, no problem. Whew. I was bracing.
We formed up between Theodred and our foes, fighting for our lives and his. There seemed to be no end to the Uruks.
No, and this is still a small minority, I'm afraid, Grimbold. Let us turn and face our pursuers. We must give Prince Theodred some time to move further south. Alright, I am with you, man. I am totally with you. Ooh, what is this skill? Quite a snag. Ooh, I can loot him? Oh, that's not fun. Okay. I'm just supposed to face the pursuing forces with Grimbold. Okay, so I'll just keep hacking at things and doing random tricks. So what is this trick? What did I just do? I just did Enrage. Okay. And then I'm supposed to, like, remove it? How do I remove it? How does that work? Stand your ground. Okay. Oh, here comes a dude. Several dudes. Here I am fighting shoulder to shoulder with the Orthonk looming up. Ooh, is that a... What kind of a bird is that? Ooh, are those vultures? I think those are vultures. Yeah, they look like vultures. I think so. Do not give up hope. That's right. Oh, it's not even Grimbold talking. We got this. Whoa. Where is he? Is him? Okay, I got him. All right. Okay, fall back, everybody. Just me? More foes from the flank. Whoa. I got your back, Grimbold. Don't worry. But Grimbold, I gotta tell you, I have a good feeling about your survival chances. Yes, I do. I think you are probably going to survive this battle. I'm pretty sure if I can't keep Grimbold alive, there's some problems. What does this one do? Improved startling twist. What? Stun multiple enemies? Whoa. Whoa. Hi. Shock high leader? So what happens? If I first do this to you, and then I do this, what happens? Do I stun you? You weren't stunned. Not even one enemy was stunned. Look at that. Yeah, we got him, Grimbold. Every second we give Prince Theodred is a second unwasted. Well, that's high praise. Okay, that's fine. So long as we stand... Uh-oh. Edwig has taken a grievous blow. Where is he? Okay, the time for fight. Hey, run it. Oh, no. Stop. What the... Oh, this is awful. Don't shoot him. Oh, lots of orcs here. We have to run. Where are we running? Okay. Man, that was gruesome, Grimbold. Yeah, let's gather the... Rally the very small army. We're defending or guarding Theodred's back. Oh, here comes somebody. It's Wilfrith. We met him before, but I can't remember where. The second force of Uruks has come to the fort in secret. I told you! Grimbold, I totally tried to warn Theodred about this. The other bank. Yes, the other side of the river. Just what I told you would happen, man. Whew. Oh. Okay. Let's go.
The Uruks pursued us as we fled, and the riders Theodred left at the ford were driven away by their onslaught. The prince was forced onto the island in the middle of the river, attacked from both sides, and we could not reach him. All seemed lost.
Oh, man. Oh, man. Can't stop now. Wait, which one is... Sunset, yeah. Okay. All right. The sun sets on the 25th of February. I met Wilfrith while tracking down Wadu's
in the middle of the River Isen. We had to fight through the line of Uruks to reach him.
Let's go rescue Theodred Grimbold. We must get to the water's edge and see what's happened to the prince. Theodred! No, you told me to only fight those again. You went out of your way, man. Okay, so let's see. So what happens if I do this, right? And then this. No. I can't apparently do this. No. Target does not meet skill requirements? What does that even mean? Okay, Grimbold. Fight on! We must save the prince! I totally agree! If only I could figure out how to stun multiple enemies, that would be super handy! When we're, fighting multiple enemies like this right now. Oh man, we are just plowing through these guys. I love it when Gryfflet says, ha! And hiya! Okay. No problem. Oh. Gryfflet is just mowing them down like wheat. Okay, Grimbold, no one can stand against us. Keep going. Oh, no, come on, he was not even in your way. Hey, oh, that worked, but it didn't stun him. How did that work? I got the skill to work, but I don't even know what it did. Okay, Prince Theodred is beset on all sides. Let's break through the ring that surrounds him. No! Someone fights on, keeping the Uruks at bay. It's Kunstan! No, Kunstan! Get back, you will not touch him. Oh, man. Kunstan making a wall of bodies around his master. Oh, even Sam Gamgee would be proud. He's living the dream. Sam's dream, I mean. No, Kunstan! It's Morflock! Okay. Let us finish this, Morflock. Theodred! The old man was not pleased to lose you as his guest, and he was very cross. Oh, you've been sent to gain his forgiveness, huh? He sent you out to die, Morflock. What have you done more beside? Oh, yeah? You won't stop me from gaining a positional advantage on you. Okay, maybe you will if you just turn and face me. But I can still stun you. And do other things. And something else. And maybe this, which will perhaps do something and perhaps not. And there's another thing that I just did, which I don't understand what it does. But I think it's cool. And I'm gonna just heal myself a little bit. What? He's running away? Gather to me, boys. Finish this maggot for once and all. I have time to heal a little bit. Okay. Be strong, Theodred. Theodred's not dead. See? Oh, boy. Morflock. Why couldn't I finish Morflock? Oh, look at that. I am one Uruk-hai away from having killing Morflock be the completion of the Slayer deed. How climactic would that be? Okay. Morflock's attention is drawn to the eastern bank of the ford, but before you can take advantage of his inattention, you are yourself rooted to the spot with wonder. A line of riders has come from Rohan. Look at that! And the courage of the Uruks melts away as the Rohirrim prepare to charge. Oh, wow. Reinforcements.
And yet, as the sun set and our hopes with it, the sound of a horn signaled the arrival of a new force on the far side of the river. Elfhelm riding hard from Helm's Deep, with many riders at his call. The Uruks retreated before him, and the day was saved, but much was lost that could not be regained.
Okay. We have to push through to the end now.
Night fell on the 25th of February, as my prince prepared for one last journey. A journey to lands we know not.
No! Hey, Elfhelm. What do you look like? Just wondering. You were always my second favorite of the Marshals of the Rittermark, you know? Grimbold is my favorite, not gonna lie, but Elfhelm, you are always my second favorite. Oh, Grimbold spoke to you of me? I'm so honored. Elfhelm looks across the waters of the Isen into the distance. Many men fought bravely today. You are so right. He rode hard from Helm's Deep. Okay. Would that we got here sooner, indeed. Yeah, I would totally go with him. Wait, there he is over there. Oh man, there's... You hit his bracer, you jerk! So you were pranking Kunstan? Yeah, Kunstan, man. You stood between our prince and his foes until you could stand no longer. Absolutely. I will see your bracer return to you. We thought you were not our equal, and we were right. You were the best of us. Oh, man. The story of Kunstan. Oh, man. Hey, Grimbold. Theodred lives. That's good, right? His wounds are grievous. He does not have much time left. Oh, dear. I've given him a bedroll and tried to... Oh, you're trying to make him comfortable? That's not good. I'm a veteran of many wars, and I've seen death in all its forms, but to see Theoden King's heir like this, more than my prince will die tonight. I fear Rohan dies with him. Oh, excuse me, Grimbold. Fort of Isen is safe, though still undefendable. The orcs have retreated. Yes. We need to keep... We will hold the ford. Oh, this is Elfhelm. Yeah. Saruman cannot break us. You rode down the great orc that gave you that wound. Oh, Elfhelm kills Morflock? That's good, Elfhelm. Excellent. And Morflock died like a coward. Satisfying as it would have been to cut him off at the knees, nevertheless. Oh, come on, Grimbold, don't wimp out. Kunstan died valiantly saving you, Theodred. That's right, he's not a child, Grimbold. You should tell him of Kunstan's noble death. That's right. He fell defending you from the orcs. They would have hewn you where you lay, Theodred, if not for the valor of Kunstan. Your father cannot stand alone. He needs allies if Rohan is to survive. Well, of course you all will. I don't think he was talking to you guys. He needs other allies, like me. Leave you here? You will keep the ford. Oh, nice. Éomer, he will help Theoden. Okay, yeah. Remain kneeling. Gryfflet will kneel too. Wish he would stay kneeling, but Prince Theodred is dead. We will bury him here as was his wish alongside his men. They will not return to Rohan, but will keep the ford alongside their prince until the end of all days. Oh, man. And Éomer is his last word, right? Interesting. Wow. Whew. Okay, Grimbold. That was rough.
We have lost much this day, but we cannot despair. We must not.
Saruman sought to slay our prince, and he succeeded. With that accomplished, he is content to have his forces retreat. This is a hollow victory. We hold the ford, but the loss of Theodred is too much for Rohan to bear. Yes, it is true that during the attack on the Fords of Isen, Saruman's number one objective was just to kill Theodred. His whole point was to destabilize Rohan. He didn't care about the fords, of course. Why should he care about the fords? Again, he was on both sides of the river. As I explained before, the Fords of Isen is a great defense of Rohan, but the one place that it cannot defend Rohan against is Isengard. So, yeah. The whole point of the attack on the Fords of Isen was to kill Theodred, so that which would help to weaken Theoden, both personally and politically, throwing the realm into chaos and despair as Saruman attacked. So it was a very cunning political move, essentially, by Saruman, as well as a military move. So he was not just eliminating a captain, but it was a political gesture. Okay. You must hold this crossing or die. Not sure you've really gotten the message about the Fords of Isen, Grimbold. Saruman accomplished what he wished this day? Yes. There will come another day, and when it does, he will seek to cross the Isen and move into Rohan. He doesn't have to cross it. My men and I will stand against him, and you will stand with us. And if I will stand with you, you may stand the longer. Okay. Hey, I'm here to help you as long as you need, but let me first see what these titles give me. Increases tactical mitigation. Okay. Increases... Wait, adds a block rating. This adds an evade rating. Oh. I think I want an evade rating, don't I? Yes, I think so. Okay. Oh, Gnagarwina, don't worry about adding to the backlog. I got it. Just go ahead. If you've got a lore question, totally ask it. We'll put it on the list and we'll see what we can do. Okay, Grimbold.
It has been a long day, and we could all use a rest.
Hey, I just finished books 5. Okay, go south and take a nap. Okay, I can do that. Join us next week when Gryfflet takes a nap. Though I have to admit, I tend to have freakish dreams when I sleep on bedrolls. Had a little bit of an experience with this. Okay, so Gryfflet is going to stop here. He's going to wait until next time to take his nap. Okay. He's just going to lie down next to the bedroll. Okay. Excellent. Okay, thanks everybody for joining me. I am come to the end of my time here today. This was fun. Sorry, I did lots of talk, but we did get all the way through the Fords of Isen anyway, so that was all right. So I think we're going to head off towards Great River next time. So an exciting moment of transition here in Gryfflet's career. He is, as of today, done with Dunland at last after, goodness, what is it now, Phil? Like 40 episodes almost in which he's been in Dunland? Amazing. Anyway, but he's done with Dunland Dealings now, and off he will go to the Great River next week. Thanks for joining me. I will be here next week. So next week on Friday, August 3rd, I will be here for my regular stream. The week after that, on August 10th, I will be gone. I'll be away with my family on that day, but I will be... And the next week after that, I was going to say I'll be back the next week, but no, I won't. I will, but then I will be gone, because the week after that, the 17th of August, I will be in San Francisco for Baymoot. If any of you are in the Northern California area, you absolutely have to come to Baymoot because it's going to be awesome. It's a one-day event on Saturday, August 18th. Really fun discussions all day. I'll be there. I'll be looking forward to meeting people. It's going to be a great, great time. So definitely join me there if you can. Go to signumuniversity.org, scroll down a bit. You'll see the events pages there. Go to the Baymoot page and sign up. Oakland, California, August 18th. And the registration deadline is coming up soon, too. We only have about another week on that. So definitely sign up for Baymoot. But anyway, that's why I'll be gone for 2 solid weeks. So next week I'll be here, and then I'll be gone for 2 weeks, and I will be back on Friday, August 24th, for another episode of Mythgard in Middle-earth. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I will leave you in the excellent hands of Druid's Fire here for the afternoon, and Druid's Fire will be guest hosting my time slot while I'm gone. So, but I'll be back, as I say, next week, and then I'll be gone. Thanks, everybody. Have a good weekend. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon here with Druid's Fire, and I will see you guys next week. Bye now. Thanks for joining in on my rambles around Standing Stone's brilliant digital adaptation of Tolkien's world. If you enjoy these adventures, please consider supporting this and other entertaining educational programming by donating at signumuniversity.org/fund.